It's actually all these sort of obscure little records that you find in this archive that you can't get anywhere else. And when I used to come here 20 years ago, it was before the internet, so you couldn't even look up stuff or ask people, about what the lyrics were or whatever. So I remember coming here and someone had mentioned Nick Jones to me, and I was like, Nick Jones, I'll look up Nick Jones, and just sort of pulled a record out and put it on the record player, and it was sort of, always a revelation to come here. So this is The Drones and the Chanters. Oh, I love this title. The Drones and the Chanters being the first in a proposed series of world pipering. I like this, very nice catchy title. This is an album of Irish instrumental music. And there's some wonderful players on here. Willie Clancy, such a wonderful piper. So I decided to play the Irish bagpipes when I was 13. I don't quite know what possessed me, but I've been listening to Planxty records, and this is pre-internet days, of course, so to get hold of a set of bagpipes is really quite difficult, but fortunately my dad somehow managed to track down Hobgoblin Music in Crawley and got me a set, which was very trusting and generous of him, to kind of whim of a 13-year-old. My first proper experience, really, of the sort of power of folk music was going over to Willie Clancy Week. Aged 16, I got a bursary. My first time ever in Ireland. Incredible festival of piping and fiddle playing. And I was kind of thinking, I'm getting it. And then I got there and there were these sort of, there'd be 4-year-olds playing Irish pipes and fiddle far, far better than I was playing. Okay. Below the Salt, Steeleye Span. It's just a very interesting experiment, the whole folk rock experiment, and it didn't always work. There are some pretty awful pieces of folk rock out there. Nothing too awful on this album. But I'm sure they won't mind me saying that even Steeleye made the odd misstep. But I think that was what was exciting about it. There was a kind of adventuring spirit about it. I mean, I think what I've learnt most of all from this band, from Steeleye Span, is how you use an arrangement to support a story. So the music is almost like a film soundtrack to the story of the ballad that you're singing. And that, I think, is something that they pretty much, them and Fairport, I suppose, really devised. And I think, for my money, I think Steeleye took it further. This guy, I think, is a real example of experimentalism just as a singer. John Jacob Niles. Very extreme sort of vocal style. Totally uncompromising, quite like sort of Peter Bellamy as well. He's not a singer that I can listen to for a very long time. I wouldn't sit and listen to him for hours and hours, but occasionally I'll put him on and just sort of be blown away by, this kind of sort of extravagance that he has.
I'll give you back your ring. Will never forget my own true love as long as songbirds sing.
This is another difficult to come by record, and it's the Wilson family sing Horumarye. I never know how to pronounce that. Horumarye. Horumarye, that's right. The Wilson family are wonderful. They make this glorious, rich, the harmonies are bang on, perfect sort of intonation, and yet you can tell they're trying to out loud each other. Jack Rutter, who also lives near to me, he I think coined the phrase "loud off." So we occasionally have a loud off, me and Jack, when we're particularly at the carols. where you just face each other and try and sing louder. It's a really stupid thing to do. Totally ruins your ruins your voice.